Okay, so I mean, all right, we're gonna have to call a spade a spade. We're gonna really have to call a spade a spade. Your husband has said something. I didn't get a chance to star it, but if anybody in the chat is going to say that there aren't a lot of men who were raised by single moms, and now they, because they saw all their moms all her life, she had to go fight, and she's a strong independent woman, and that's what they're looking for in their wife, for you to be a strong independent boss B, y'all capping. Because a lot of men in the Black community are like that, and I don't want to go off too far because I want you to remember your point, family, Jasmine. But I remember Kevin Samuels did a video calling men out and holding men accountable. I remember clear as day. I think he was at like this train station waiting for the train, and he made a quick video, and he was like, "Men, you have to play. You have to something the cost to play the boss, pay the cost to be the boss, or something like that, right?" And it's like a lot of times, a lot of men, just because I use my channel to hold women accountable, don't mean that we don't have men who need to step it up too in the Black community. It just is what it is. A lot of men, and I have a lot of people in my personal life witnessing their marriages now, where their men are like, "Hey, my mama had to go out there and fight, so I'm expecting you to go out there and fight, no matter how many kids we have, no matter our financial situation, I want you to go out and fight." And it's like, this is why we have these conversations, to understand our roles. But go ahead, family values, and then I'll get to the super chat.
I mean, you said it. Like Thundercat. Yes, there are men out here who are forcing their own, not just girlfriends, their wives to go work. I mean, there are, and granted, there are some women who like, no, I'm not quitting my job. I need that, da da da. Yes, there are a lot of them too. But I've met these type of men. I've seen them online. They get annoyed with me when I talk about the fact that I stay home, and they call me a gold digger and all kind of things, because they don't want to have to lead in that manner. They don't want to have that kind of what do you call it, pressure on them,
The responsibility of being a man. Yeah.
Yes. So it is, especially in our community, because we're led by a matriarch. So a lot of our men are used to that, and that is what they know. And they, like you said, they see their mamas do it, and you could do it too. Their mamas broke their back to work this 9-to-5 job, came home, cooked, clean, and did all these things. And it's just not fair. It's not balanced when it's that way. And then you're wondering why she was always angry. She didn't have time for the kids. She wasn't as loving. She didn't give you as many hugs and kisses, because she was bitter, because she was tired. So it does happen. It does happen. Men, any of them out here, like, no way am I taking care of a woman. It's like, what? You don't.
So can I play devil's advocate? Can I play devil's advocate for just 1 second? And, you know, KS used to say this all the time. 70% of all women in this country work because those incomes are necessary. So
that's what I was about
around that. That is reality. So
that's what I was about to touch on. That's what I was about to touch on, because I saw somebody in the chat said, so pay for your femininity. It's not necessarily pay for your femininity, right? It's you can, I strongly believe that, yeah, in this economy, not everybody can afford for their wife to stay home. That is the reality. So yeah, your wife is going to have to go out and work and contribute financially. The issue is going out, busting her butt, working as hard as you, and then you admiring just her strength. Oh, she's tired. She only have 3 hours of sleep every night, and she's stressed out, and she have all these health issues, but you admire that because that is a hardworking woman. No, it's different. And then also, I've dated someone briefly, who we were having a conversation of, you know, the dynamic. I have no intentions of giving up my career once I'm married. You know, I not only do I want to financially contribute to my family, but I mean, all that student loan debt, to walk with it, right? But so I was having a conversation with someone, and I said to him, you know, I plan on financially contributing to my household as long as I don't have to prioritize my career over my family. So I don't want to have to miss my kids' soccer game or my, their ballet recital or anything like that. And he said to me that, well, in this day and age, you should have to prioritize your career over your family. He's one of those, yeah, his mama couldn't show to his football game and that's okay. And I'm like, but that is repeating certain cycles that we don't want. That's repeating the cycles that we need to stop, because then we're allowing the media to raise our kids because we're caught up at work. If both parents are distracted at work, who is raising your kids? So I'm not saying the woman's supposed to stay home and not contribute financially, but is she prioritizing her career over the family? And then that's when we need to have the conversation. But a lot of men want the woman to prioritize their career over their family, and we can't sit here and say that that's not a problem.
And I'm gonna play devil's advocate as well, because I'm a strong believer, especially if it's two of you and y'all are married, that it is very much so you can live off of one income. It just it just depends on the things that you would want to sacrifice, the things that you will want to live without. You don't need the extra car. There's certain bills that you don't need, the cable. You just be on Wi-Fi. There's so many. You can start. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. You can grow a garden. No, nobody wants to grow a garden. But I'm saying there are ways. You can make your own laundry detergent. Like, there are ways to save money. Do your own nails. Do your own hair. You don't have to, splurge on a lot of things that we want, especially in those first years of your children. I think it's most important when you have children. Now, if you don't have children, it is what it is. But when you have children, especially in those first 5-6 years of their life, I think it's so important that a mom is home. And there are still ways to gain income from home, especially post-COVID. There's so many ways now to make money at home. There's so many ways. You can telemarketing, whatever it may be, YouTube. There's so many ways, and a lot of people are just saying, "Oh, well, we need 2 incomes," and then they jump into a full career. I don't think it's good for women to be in a career. Now, have a job to help supplement, not be dependent on, but to supplement, to be able to help. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, what are your priorities? What is most important? Is it your family, your legacy, your children, or going on that vacation next year?
A point that I want to insert, and I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts on it. And see, Gwen had said the comment that people could afford one income if they live within their means. Now, our thoughts, and I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts. But if as feminine energy, right, as the wives, or it's our job to take the stress away from our man. Now, what if or men are facing some financial difficulties? Would it be then acceptable for us to go out in the workforce to help take some of that stress, that financial burden away from him?
I personally, if he asks, if that's what his solution is, of course, adhere to what your husband wants and needs. But if he doesn't ask, I wouldn't put yourself out there and do that, because like I said earlier, sometimes it be those situations that inspire a man to be greater. And then he taps into who he really is and what you see that he could be. And then he ends up building up his own, a business or whatever. He starts to think, when he knows that it's on him, that's when his mind starts to really work, and he starts to reach out to other brothers that are doing it and try to figure things out. And I think if we just took a step back, even in those times, even when we may be eating peanut butter sandwiches for a week or two, it's sometimes okay to just let him figure it out and let him know that you trust that he's got it. But if he asks, then that's a whole different story. Do whatever it is that your husband needs. But at the end of the day, I don't think it is best for a woman to have to step in and make that be what's going to happen for the rest of their marriage. Maybe for a season until y'all get back on your feet. You see what I'm saying? Especially, like I said, if you have children.
To add on to that, I agree with all of that. To add on to what Jasmine was saying is because, statistically, like we said, 70% of women work in this country. I think it's more realistic to think that if you have children that are maybe school age or whatever, at some point figure out what is it that you can do to be resourceful. Like in my situation, there were plenty of times where my mom was not working, but she sold our clothes. She was very resourceful when it came to cooking and recipes and, stretching a dollar and stuff like that. But I think in today's society, it's better, like in my situation right now, I work from home. That makes it so much easier for me to keep the house and all that kind of stuff. So I just mix that in with my day. And I like being able to contribute. I don't have to contribute as much because, he handles most of it, but it's a lot better to be able to say, hey, you know what, I can save more of my money, still live within our means. And then when something happens, if necessary, luckily it hasn't happened, but if it comes to a point and it's like, oh, wait a minute, hold up, he was the fallen, because, this is real life, things happen, then I would be able to say, well, hey, you know what, if he was to ask, like you said, hey, I got, 10, 20, $30,000 over here saved up, let's start you a business. Let's, whatever it is that he would ask for or need or whatever.
And then I also want to add too, I think a lot of times men, when we have this conversation about a woman not wanting to go 50-50 or, wanting to be a stay-at-home wife, they automatically hear gold digger. They automatically hear, oh, you just want to be lazy and live off me. But if you have kids and you know you want your kids to be raised well, not be raised by media, and you all see what's going on media these days. My sister sent me some, they had this rainbow what's the fish crackers, the little fish crackers thingy, like no, they put it in, yeah, goldfish. No, they put it in like this rainbow, and they have rainbow cereal. So y'all see what the media is trying to push. It is as clear as day. Do you want your kids to be raised in schools where they have the rainbow closets, or would you prefer